So, as we said before, today is the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. And so for this discussion, I just had I'm sure this discussion will like drive itself because we're all like fanboys. But first question I have just to kick off the discussion is I want to find out everyone's top 3 Zeldas.
You first.
So I'll go first. If I don't think too hard, just like
okay.
off or top 3 Zeldas. So for me, I have to say Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker, Cap.
Minish Cap. Okay. Would you like to explain those choices? Yes.
I will elaborate, but I want you guys to say your top 3 just off the dome.
Okay. Oh God, I hate this.
Don't think too much.
Okay.
Go by your heart.
Go by my heart.
Go
by my heart. Ocarina of Time.
Yep.
Twilight Princess, you're gonna say.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I was close to saying Wind Waker. This close.
If I go with my heart, Wind Waker has to be on that list.
Yeah, I can't lie. Wind Waker. So let me be. This is my personal favorites.
Go with your heart, not your head. Heart.
If I'm going with my heart, I'm changing Breath of the Wild to Wind Waker.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If I'm going with my heart, it's gonna be Majora's Mask, Wind Waker. Link to the Past. I can't link to the past.
Okay, nice. Now it's time for the elaboration.
Okay, so I said Minish Cap because I was like, hang on, everyone's always like ranking their Zelda games. You always see the usual suspects, but like Minish Cap is like an underrated game.
Yeah,
like I played it. It's a very good game, but I don't feel like it comes up in conversation enough. And I don't think it's because of any other reason, but maybe a lot of people didn't play it.
Yeah. I feel like people.
I think if more people played it, it would get talked about a lot more because it's a really good game.
Minish Cap was on the GBA, wasn't it? Yeah, I did. Actually, I played a bit of it. I don't think I really actually completed it actually, but it was a good game for the most part, which I played anyway. I don't know. I think I played on I emulated it actually.
I emulated it. I emulated it on my PC.
I played it in school. Yeah.
But you know what I will say about Minish Cap and all the other handheld games, people just don't respect them as much. I've noticed.
I think that as well.
Because Phantom Hourglass is still one of my favorite Zelda games.
Is a good game. Apart from the Temple of the Blood Clot Ocean game, is an amazing game.
And Link Between Worlds is highly regarded as well, but I don't think people.
I haven't played that.
I still have to finish
I haven't played it myself. I need to get it. I think I'm going to get it, but I should really play it. But I've heard good things about Link Between Worlds as well. And as you said, Minish Cap, I think, as you said, people maybe don't really rate as highly the portable games, which is a bit unfair on them, I think.
I put Minish Cap on my list as a placeholder for all the handhelds, to be honest. It could be exchange it for Phantom Hourglass, exchange it for In Between Worlds, but I think Minish Cap just came to my mind because it's one of the earliest ones I played. I didn't play Four Swords Adventures or anything, but I played Minish Cap and like the ones after that. So yeah, Wind Waker came from heart because this will link into the next question I'm going to ask as well, but it's actually one of the, I think I played it before I played Majora's Mask. I played it right after Ocarina of Time. So I went around in terms of like chronology, I went about it in a weird way when I first started playing Zelda. So I think just because of nostalgia, but even when I played it again afterwards, it still held up. I think it's just a good game. And people didn't expect much from it because the first like proper 3D Zelda game, people were expecting like what we got with Twilight Princess, but instead we got Toon Link in this like cel shaded graphic style. But even with all of that, it still got critical acclaim. I think they re-released it with the like collector's edition, which is the one I got. But yeah, that's my and Breath of the Wild again. I just think it's just a good game. I wish I could wipe my memory clean of Breath of the Wild. Play it again.
Like, I agree with that.
Amazing game. Playing Breath of the Wild took me back to those times like playing Zelda after school with my parents. Like just a very essence of just like playing a game and having fun with the game. So yeah. For those reasons, I had to. I didn't want to because I was thinking, oh no, I held up like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. Like, you know, these are like classics and Breath of the Wild just came out, but no, it's one of my favorites.
That's fine.
It has to be, yeah.
I hear you on Breath of the Wild, man. That game, it was just the fact that the exploration in that game was just amazing. I've just enjoyed it so much, just being there. But I remember, I think I spent ages exploring before I actually did my first Divine Beast. I just was exploring, going from shrine to tower to get more of the map. And I just, before I eventually did my first Divine Beast, but I was just having so much fun. Even now, I'm still back on Master, getting panned. Playing through that game all over again. But yeah, no, I those are good choices. To be fair, I don't think you can go wrong with any choices.
No, not
it's true.
except CDI.
Except for CDI. If
we should not really acknowledge them games.
If you unironically like the CDI games, it must be crack.
I think you need help.
It's maybe not one of those like
talk to someone.
Definitely need help.
It's not even one of those it's so bad it's good because they're barely playable. So it doesn't count. But yeah, I think just a last point about Breath of the Wild, I think the only real like boundary in that game is the fact that you can't go past the edge of the map. Outside of that, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can wake up in the Shrine of Resurrection and go straight to Ganon if you feel like it.
Pretty much.
That's just a really good, that's a really like great part of playing that game. But yeah, my other question I wanted to ask as well was just because I played Ocarina of Time, then Wind Waker, then went back to Majora's Mask, and it's just I didn't play like in chronological order, growing up for a variety of reasons. I wanted to find out everyone's earliest memories with Zelda. So actually, I found out about Zelda, the video game, in a very weird way. I was playing Smash Brothers on N64 with my cousins, and we went to the character select screen, and I saw Link. And I said, because before that point, the only Nintendo characters I knew were Pikachu and Samus and Fox, and I was like, who is this elf? Especially I'd never seen a Zelda character before, so obviously I just like picked Link and I picked Zelda, and I was just obsessed. I didn't actually know that Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf were from the same game until afterwards. So it was after that, and I think when the GameCube came out, and my cousin got the collector's edition of Wind Waker. So I don't know if you guys had that as well. So it had
you get the disc, and then it's got the Master Quest.
Second disc had Master Quest and Majora's Mask. So
and
Majora's Mask, was Ocarina of Time, no?
No, it was Ocarina of Time
and then Master
Quest.
And I feel it had at Ocarina of Time, and it had the remix version Master Quest.
It didn't have Majora's Mask.
It didn't have Majora's Mask.
But so I actually played Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker at the same time, but technically Wind Waker first, which I think is why it has such a special place in my heart. The Ocarina of Time, and then like Majora's Mask, and then like the others and stuff. So that's how I got into Zelda. So like, what was like the first Zelda game?
Well,
just gonna expose your age.
It's definitely gonna expose my age when we talk.
The funny thing with me is that I'd played the original Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, the NES one, but I had no idea what game it was at the time. So it didn't really have any connection to the series at the time. And I can't remember how old I was. I must have been about 4 or 5. But the game I remember actively playing first was Ocarina of Time. So we used to have some friends that I grew up with. They lived in the same flat as us, and we all used to play games together like every single day. And the game that we played the most was Ocarina of Time. Now, around this time, obviously there's no internet forums where we have access to. We don't really have access to the outside world. We were the only ones we knew that knew what Zelda was. So we literally just spent hours and hours and hours playing the same game. We probably put about 1,000 hours into Ocarina of Time. Literally, we didn't rush the story. It took us like a couple years to complete it. We used to do just like fishing and weird stuff all the time. So I played that. Obviously by then I'd had a decent knowledge of Zelda. Then I played Wind Waker a couple years later. So I think, a couple years later. After that, I played. I think I played Minish Cap. When did Minish Cap come out?
Oh, I don't know when it came out. I played it a while after it came out.
I'm even checking now.
I think I played.
Yeah, it's 2004.
Yeah,
2004,
Quite
2005.
on, yeah.
So I played Minish Cap, and then I played Four Swords.
Yeah.
I played Four Swords, and then I started playing Majora's Mask after Four Swords.
Okay.
Then I went over to Twilight Princess, then Skyward Sword, then Breath of the Wild. And then I played, obviously I played a couple of the others in between. Phantom Hourglass I bought. I had Spirit Tracks. What else is there I'm missing? Is there any mainstays I'm missing?
I think those are all the main ones.
I think those are all the main ones.
There's nothing else in the universe with Phantom Hourglass, and then like Spirit Tracks is the
Spirit
direct
Tracks.
sequel, and there's nothing else after that, is there?
No. Yeah, so that's pretty
all
much,
right,
yeah.
I'm just trying to think what is my earliest memory. I feel because I had a friend as well that lived up the road from me. He had a Super Nintendo, and he had Link's Past. So I didn't really know much about Zelda then, but I think I played it. I was playing with him, and we were taking turns playing. Whoever died started, then played, and then whatever else. And that's when I first got exposed to Zelda. And then the second time I think as well, also was in America when I was on a plane to America. Back then, Virgin Atlantic, their planes had, I think they had a deal with Nintendo, so you had some Super Nintendo games on. Yeah, had some Super Nintendo games where you could play on the flight. So I'll be playing Super Mario World to Wario's Woods, and I think I had Link to the Past as well. So that was definitely keeping a 7-year-old like me occupied for that flight time. This is like 1997, I think. But yeah, and Link to the Past, I had a lot of fun. But I didn't really come.
90 what?
Yeah, it's 1997. This. I was 7. Yeah, it was 1997 when I was on the plane to US, and they had this deal with Nintendo to play some SNES games. But yeah, and then Ocarina of Time came out. I never actually owned Ocarina of Time at the time, but my dad did rent it a few times from Blockbuster for me.
Blockbuster.
For me. Yeah, so he rented it in a few times, and I did play it. I got as far as I could. I remember I got stuck on Jabba Jabba's belly because I didn't know where to go. This was a time where there was no guides or nothing, so I was completely stumped. So I never actually got to complete it at the time whenever I rented it. I did eventually complete Ocarina of Time. I think when it came with Wind Waker, I played it again then, and at least this time I could. There was more to find out where to go exactly, and I knew finally how to navigate Jabba Jabba's belly, because that's what's held me back from the game. But yeah, Ocarina of Time, and then actually even before I completed Ocarina of Time, then I did play Majora's Mask as well, because I did manage to somehow get the gold Majora's Mask, because I was begging for it for Christmas for the longest. And that's, Majora's Mask ended up one of my favorite Zelda games. I think because I just loved the whole, everything was time limited within the 3 days. And it was just that was the fear of impending doom each time. So you had to do whatever you could do in the 3 days and reverse back time. I remember a lot of things were so for example, like getting the fairies in Majora's Mask in each temple. If you didn't collect all 15 fairies within them 3 days and you reset the time, you had to do it all over again. Get all the fairies from the beginning. I just like things like that. But yeah, and I think from Majora's Mask and Wind Waker as well goes without saying, because I know I remember it got a lot of flack because of the cell shaded graphics, but the look at it now, it's held up well over time. So well.
Yeah, because that's what it was like my first proper I'm playing this by myself. I'm not passing the pad to my cousin when I get scared. No, I'll play this the first other game I played by myself.
Hey, even Redeads in that game were scary as well.
What? They were the scariest Redeads.
I think they're the scariest Redeads. They are definitely the scariest Redeads.
I think the only way the Redeads could get scarier than Wind Waker is if they bring them back.
They're coming back. You know they're coming back, right?
If they come back from Breath of the Wild 2, I think that's
they're coming back. I'm telling you, they're coming back. I'm just telling you now, they're coming back.
I really hope Breath of the Wild 2 is dark.
It looks it. That's what I think it would. I think it will be more dark.
It feels like it will be darker than Breath of the Wild, the first game, but not as dark as, let's say, Majora's Mask.
See that,
I think that's why.
I think there's the potential there to push it.
I don't. Do you know what? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the graphics of the N64 or the overall themes. I don't know what it is. But I think it was always come across. They they always come across as scarier games. Even Ocarina of Time.
Because even
comes across
Ocarina, Spirit
Yes,
Temple,
yeah,
Shadow
I hear
Temple,
that.
sorry.
Shadow
Yeah.
Temple, definitely. Forest Temple as well had a bit of moments.
Forest
To be
Temple
fair,
was in the music as
Yeah.
well.
I think it's the music for Forest Temple. That's probably why the music for Forest Temple was quite very eerie.
What's it? Minuet of Forest. That was the theme.
I said, there's no reason why it should be like this scary. It's
Yeah, I think
it's
Forest
rated
Temple.
E.
But
But
like,
I think that's one thing I did miss playing Breath of the Wild. I didn't get that kind of. There was no areas where there was anything particularly scary to me.
no, there wasn't.
Not that I can remember, anyway.
I don't think the only thing that last time I think I've had anything that maybe feels a little bit scary. Maybe like even Skyward Sword has something a little bit about it, and that was when you had to do dash for the what are they called? Those spirit orbs or whatever else. Remember in Skyward Sword, Chris, did you ever get to that point? Did you ever get to that point where you get hit? You got hit once with them guardians, it was game over straight away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did get to that.
Those parts were quite fairly scary actually, because the music that would hit, because it gave you a certain time limit between catching each one, and if you didn't get to it in time, then those things will be on the move, and they can automatically track your location, and they run if they're not dashing, they're faster than you, and then they one hit you and game over. You have to do it all over again. But those bits were quite scary, but yeah, I can't think of really much. It wasn't really in Breath of the Wild much scary moments. I'm hoping Breath of the Wild 2 goes on darker tone. I think that's why I like Majora's Mask as well at the time. It was scary for me playing it even when I was as a kid, but I still loved the game, and I've replayed it a few times over the years anyway, and it just made me grow to love the game even more. I just love the whole dark tone of the game, etc. And that's why it's one of my favorite games. But my journey anyway of Zelda, went enjoying one. Then Twilight Princess, I played on the Wii. I just got it off my friend, and he just never collected it off of me. So I just played through Twilight Princess.
I bought that at launch. Me and my sister saved up for that.
I didn't get a Wii at launch. I was unfortunate.
Oh, is it?
I never got a Wii at launch actually.
I remember saving up with my sister. We saved.
The funny thing is, I saved up, but because it was sold out everywhere. Because I couldn't do no pre-order or nothing, so I was sold out everywhere.
We pre-ordered.
That's why you're lucky.
That's the first thing I ever pre-ordered.